Musicians, finally, we can change our relationship with time. Welcome to the Artist Playbook. Hi, Angela Beeching here, back with another tool for musicians. In this session, we're going to tackle one of the biggest challenges we all face, how to deal with time itself. Because let's face it, there's never enough of it for our creative work. And let me be blunt, I'm not here marketing a fancy time management program or a productivity hack. I'm here to tell the truth about our relationship with time and why we struggle with it. And I'll teach you a fabulous tool from therapists Phil Stutz and Barry Michels, one that you can use to get more of your best work out into the world. Then, in the next video, I'll give you an additional set of strategies. These are simple, but not easy, ways to organize your projects and attention so you can finally be proud of the work you do week in and week out. Let's dive in. To frame this issue, let's talk about how most musicians experience life. Here I'm going to turn to the world's simplest diagram. This comes from Phil Stutz and Barry Michels. Here we see universe one on the bottom. This is the material world. It's dealing with taxes, scheduling, marketing, money, all the stuff that consumes our daily life. Universe two, on the other hand, is the realm of the flow state, of artistic inspiration, the unconscious, and the spirit world. Now, here's the thing. How we actually experience time is very different in these two realms. In the material world of universe one, we deal with chronological time, measured in minutes, hours, days, and weeks. The word chronological comes from the root chronos, or father time. In universe two, on the other hand, we experience a very different kind of time. The Greeks called it Kairos. It's how time feels when we're in a flow state, connected to our unconscious, and time seems to stretch out before us. This is why in peak performances, we may have a sense of time itself standing still. Now, as musicians, we'd love to spend as much time as possible here in Universe 2 and not have to deal with the practical aspects of making a living in Universe 1. So most of the musicians I know experience these two dimensions in a kind of constant inner conflict because it seems there's never enough time to deal with both of these. When we're working on our art, we can find ourselves distracted with worries about the practical issues of Universe One, like making money. And when we're working on the practical issues down here in Universe One, we resent the time that it takes us away from making our art. The result is that most of us aren't able to focus as well as we'd like on either our creative work or on the practical logistics of making a living. So as musicians, we need to be able to take care of the basics of daily life, including the business side of our music in Universe One, in order to support our work in Universe Two. The truth is we need to be able to deal effectively with both universes and to organize our attention and energy so that when we're practicing, composing, or rehearsing, we are fully engaged and not distracted. And likewise, when we're working on the business side of our careers, we need to be able to work creatively without distraction so that we can then get back to doing our artistic work. The managing of both matters because our mission is to be able to gather the inspiration from Universe 2 and translate that into the practical music making in Universe 1. So we're pulling inspiration here and bringing it into our actual work so that we can share our gifts with others and make a positive contribution to the world. By far, the most common problem afflicting creative artists is how to manage our time. We rebel against planning and scheduling our artistic work, believing that as artists, we need to create only when we're inspired and not be a slave to chronological time. Now, that's a nice fantasy that maybe worked when we were younger and had fewer responsibilities. But now, with multiple projects and more complicated lives, things are a good deal more real. So let's be honest. If we wait for the perfect moment to create, we may never start at all. This is where the tool I'll teach you comes in. Developed by Barry Michels and Phil Stutz, it's called the Arbitrary Use of Time moment. I know it's a mouthful. But for this, you need to understand a little bit of background. Now, as freelancers without a boss, we like to pretend that we don't need to answer to any authority figure. But Barry Michels reminds us that there is an authority figure that we are answerable to. It's just not human. It's time itself that's passing inexorably. It's the archetypal father, Chronos. That's why they call it Father Time. With every instance of procrastinating or avoiding our work, we are defying this authority figure. Procrastination, Barry maintains, is our arrogant pretense that we're immortal. It's the ego's way of claiming it has all the time in the world. And our part X, our resistance, plays this up for all it's worth, convincing us that if we keep to a schedule, it will feel like death. So this tool isn't a simple action plan. It's about reimagining your relationship with time itself. So how do we work on this? To help procrastinating writers, Barry gives them the arbitrary use of time moment, which asks them to sit at their computers at a specific time for a period each day. Now, while this was developed for writers, the tool applies just as powerfully to musicians or any creative artist struggling to begin. If you're using the tool, you say, I'm surrendering myself to the archetypal father, Chronos, because he has ultimate power over me. Barry says that submission activates something inside us. In the simplest terms, it gets people to get their ass in a chair. For the truly unproductive, Barry sets the initial period at 10 minutes because he says that's an amount of time it would embarrass his clients not to be able to do. So here's how I've adapted this tool for musicians. First, I suggest you find a time in your schedule for doing an initial practice or composition session for the day. If all you can do is 45 minutes before things kick up in the morning in your household, that's okay. Start with what you can commit to. Even 20 minutes matters if it's consistent. This isn't about perfection, it's about momentum. Ideally, you want to use the same time block Monday through Friday, but even 3 or 4 days a week can make a real difference. And if practicing and noise are an issue, if you're getting up early in the morning before a day job starts, what I always say, either use a practice mute or use a keyboard with headphones, or if you need to, do silent practice and score reading. You want to figure out something that's going to jumpstart your creative work. So that's what you do for that first initial bit of time. Then pick another time to manage the business side of your music, another 45 minutes a day to take care of emails or to work on the admin side of the priority project you've got going. Again, ideally, you'll have a consistent time you can designate Monday through Friday. But again, even 3 or 4 days a week will make a real impact. Now, to be clear, I am not saying that 2 45-minute periods a day are all you need. I am saying that keeping a promise to yourself and being consistent, that's what matters. You're building trust with yourself one session at a time. The concept here is that you are keeping a covenant with your own artistic growth. By being consistent, you're demonstrating to your shadow self that you're dedicated to your development as an artist. This is how we honor Father Time, by respecting the time you actually have and prioritizing your most important work. This isn't about submitting to someone else's rules. Instead, This is about acknowledging that you are mortal and that time is real. In the next video, I'll walk you through how to build more habits for growth into your routine. But I want to leave you with a cautionary tale. 2 weeks ago, I got an email from a colleague telling me that my good friend and mentor, Suzanne Bird Harris, had died the previous night, apparently in her sleep. If you have to go, that would be the way to do it. She was 61 years old. No one expected this. No one saw this coming. Suzanne was my web designer and business consultant and friend. I'd worked with her closely for more than 10 years, and because this was so sudden, there was no opportunity to say goodbye and tell her how much she meant to all of us. Suzanne had planned to work on a memoir. She had so many wonderful projects in front of her. And like the rest of us, she assumed there'd be time for it all. She hadn't prioritized the memoir, and so those marvelous stories of hers we will never get. I'm telling you all of this because the way you handle your time matters. It matters more than you think because none of us know how many days we have ahead of us. So when you tell yourself you'll get to that ambitious project next week or next month, that's a way of pretending that you're immortal. You aren't, and neither am I. So mark your calendar for the daily appointments with yourself. Make a commitment. And you showed up for this video, that's a great start. For more help, see the next video. And if this one was helpful, please like and comment and subscribe below. If you know another musician who could use this, please pass it along. We're all in this together. See you next time.